Yo, what is going on, everybody? UFC 324 is this Saturday and is the first card we have had in 6 weeks. I actually feel deprived as hell right now from it. But eventually this Saturday, I think I'm gonna feel a lot better. Anyway, it's the first card on Paramount Plus. It starts an hour earlier, which is super effing cool. And yeah, I just want to get into it because I'm super excited for this card. Obviously, let me address real quick. I called the last thing. Kevin Vallejos and Josh Evett will be fighting. I called that as a main event, and they actually announced it. Another thing I want to address real quick is obviously we lost Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes, which that does suck. But this fight card's still pretty good, man. This is still really good, uh, especially compared to some of the pay-per-views we got last year. So I'm excited for this card. It's a great way to start off the card. That January they always usually do start off with a pretty good bang. And yeah, let's get right into it. So starting with the first fight of the night, Adam Fugitt versus Ty Miller. I believe this is indeed Ty Miller's debut. Adam Fugitt loses to almost every decent prospect. His last loss is Islam Dulatov, who's really good and powerful. Striker, at least. I haven't studied his wrestling too much. He beat Josh Quinlan, lost to Mike Malott, lost to Michael Morales. I think he has another win in there somewhere. I just can't remember who. And Ty Miller, obviously, coming off his debut. He has good boxing, this guy. Very good striking, very good pressure striking. Not heavy hands, but very good pressure striking. And I think that pressure striking is going to lead him to get the victory by decision. Maybe even a third round KO or TKO. So, yeah, I'm going to go Ty Miller by decision. Moving on to the next fight. Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman. I'm going to be honest with you guys real quick. I think Ricky Tercios is one of the worst people in recent memory to win a tough season. I mean, Brad Katona also lost, but I actually think Brad Katona still had a little bit of skill. This guy really just has cardio and pressure. He doesn't really have too much skill. He's not good striking. He's not that great at wrestling. And yeah, I'm not trying to say I don't like him, but I don't think he has that great of a future in the UFC. Cameron Smotherman also doesn't have too good of a record here. It's 12-6. He lost last to Ricky Simone. That's not that bad of a loss, though. Ricky Simone's kind of on a decent run right now, unless he did just lose his last fight, which I'm pretty sure he did, because now I remember it. He lost to Ronnie Barcelos. But he was on a pretty good run before then. He beat Javid Basharat by knockout, and Cameron Smotherman. Who is this guy's last win? Is it Jake Hadley? It is Jake Hadley, because he lost to Sydney. I forget how to pronounce it. And then he lost to Ricky Simone, sorry. But he actually has pretty good striking, pretty good boxing. His placement isn't the best. His wrestling isn't the best. He can get outpaced also, which is kind of bad for if you're fighting a guy like Ricky Tercios. But I think he's going to be able to outskill Ricky Tercios in all 3 rounds, and I think Cameron Smotherman will get a decision win here. Moving on to the third fight. Josh Hockett versus Denzel Freeman. I'm just going to be honest, I'm going Josh Hockett from the get-go. He's beaten, I think, are all of his wins by finish? I'm pretty sure all of his wins are by finish in the first round, maybe even. Maybe in the first round, but 7 finishes, I'm pretty sure. And Denzel Freeman is coming off of an abysmal performance. He won that fight, but it was a terrible performance last time out against, was it Merrick Bolio or Boho? Something like that. But he won by decision, very low output style, and I think Josh Hockett is going to go forward. And I think he's going to find maybe a takedown. Yeah, he's going to find a takedown, and he's going to get a ground and pound TKO here and get his 8th win in a row, an 8th win professionally. Moving on. I got Josh Hockett by KO in round 1 or 2. Moving on to this might be the most 50-50 fight on this card. We have Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Both of these guys are on a win streak right now. Michael Johnson's on a 3-fight win streak. His last loss was it to Diego Ferreira, which isn't a bad loss. Dude has power. And then he knocked out, I forget who he knocked out, but he had that very quick knockout against somebody. Then he fought Daniel Zahuber and beat Daniel Zahuber by decision. And Alexander Hernandez, he's coming off of a win over Diego Ferreira, I think, actually. And he beat Chase Hooper pretty recently also. I believe that was like back-to-back too. So 4 in a row versus 3 in a row, it looks. I really don't know for this fight. This fight is actually 50-50 because Michael Johnson is either the greatest fighter or the worst fighter. And he always has that chin out there sometimes. But he is definitely the better striker of these two. And Alexander, maybe with the momentum and everything going his way recently, he's still 33, and Michael Johnson's like almost 40 at this point. I think I'm going to give it to Alexander Hernandez by first round knockout. I think he's going to probably just find a way inside of Johnson's range and catch him with a nice right cross. That's my prediction. Moving on to another good fight, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. I'm going to go Charles Johnson by third round TKO or knockout in general. I don't want to speak too much on this fight. Alex Perez, he's like 1-5 in his last... No, he's like 1-4 in his last 5, I mean. And Charles Johnson beats everybody. He beat Joshua... Doesn't beat everybody, sorry, obviously. But he loses... This is the type of fight he does lose on, ironically. Just to some dude who's a grappler. Well, Alex Perez is not really a grappler, but he loses to the guys that whenever he's climbing up. But I think he'll get it this time. I think Alex Perez is too slow. He was looking good until his last... he kind of put himself... He didn't put himself, but he got guillotined his last time fighting. And that was to Asu Amabayev. And that, no shame in losing that fight. Asu's actually a pretty good grappler, and he was winning too, so... But I think Charles Johnson's striking is better. I think he's the more active striker, and I think he probably even hits harder. And I think he is going to use his range very well. He'll stay on the outside and make Perez make a lot of mistakes, and I think he's going to catch him with a... I'll say he's going to catch him with almost exactly what he caught Joshua Van with, like a uppercut then a hook, and that'll be the fight. So yeah, Charles Johnson, third round TKO, maybe even knockout. Moving on to the regular prelims. Starting off, we got Modestas Bukauskas versus Nikita Krylov. Nikita Krylov has not won a fight in like 5 years. I'm going to be honest, guys. His last win was against Ryan Spann. It hasn't been 5 years. It's been like 3 years, but still. Last win was against Ryan Spann. That's not that crazy good of a win. He got knocked out in the first round both his previous fights. And Modestas Bukauskas is on an absolute tear right now. I believe he's on 4 or 5 fights in a row. A 4-fight win streak. And it's not the greatest competition, but there's Paul Craig in there somewhere. Excuse me. Ion Cutelaba is somewhere in there. Oh my goodness. Excuse me again. Marcin Prachnio somewhere in there. And yeah, I think he's the better striker. I think he has momentum on his side. If you would have asked me this fight 3 years ago, I would definitely say Nikita Krylov, but ever since he took that little layoff, he hasn't exactly been all there in the speed-wise. He hasn't used his grappling as much, but I think this is a good fight for Modestas Bukauskas. Training with Tom Aspinall, has a better camp, and yeah, 2 knockouts in a row in the first round doesn't really look good going into a third fight. And I don't think he took crazy time off either. I believe he just got knocked out like maybe in September or August. Maybe it was July or June, but I think he got knocked out pretty recently. And Modestas Bukauskas has that momentum. He has the striking, and I think he'll have the power. I'm going to go Modestas Bukauskas by second round knockout, because I don't think he hits as hard or as powerful as Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov. But yeah, Modestas Bukauskas, round 2 knockout. Moving on to another kind of easy one for me. I'm going to go Atiba Gutierrez. I don't even have to introduce the other guy. I'm going to go Atiba Gutierrez to get this one done by knockouts in the first round against Andre Palayev. He has a win over Nick Klein. He got knocked out, or he didn't get knocked out, sorry. I think he just got the shit beat out of him by Christian Leroy Duncan. And yeah, I think if you take shots like that from Atiba Gutierrez, I'm not saying Christian Leroy Duncan doesn't hit hard. He definitely does. But I think Atiba Gutierrez just hits way harder than anybody at middleweight right now. And I think he's going to get this one done by first round knockout again. And I think he's going to get ranked competition after this. So moving on to another great fight, to the first great fight of the night. I forget their exact rankings. It might be number 1 versus number 5, or number 2 versus number 4, or 6 or something. I'm not exactly sure, but we got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. Umar Nurmagomedov's coming off that rebound win against Mario Batista. He got dropped, but I don't think Davison Figueiredo could drop him, but I don't think he has the speed. I think Mario Batista is probably faster than Figgy right now, and I think that will be a big important factor. I think he'll have the grappling to not get submitted by Umar Nurmagomedov. I think he's going to defend well for a few times. Maybe be safe in the first 2 rounds. I think he's going to lose this fight by decision. I think Umar Nurmagomedov is going to win this fight by a boring decision. He will be holding Davison against the cage for at least 3 minutes. That is a lock. And yeah, I think Umar Nurmagomedov, I think these two are both coming off of a win. Davison Figueiredo, he had that close, but I think he did enough to win, but he had that close win against Montel Jackson, lost to Corey Sandhagen and Piotr Jan, but no shame in losing to those two. Those two are both ranked higher than him. And and Piotr Jan's the champion now, so that's not a bad loss. And yeah, I think Umar Nurmagomedov is going to get this one done by decision. I just think he's going to be too constant. He's going to use that pressure and that wrestling constantly in the first 2 rounds. I think Davison Figueiredo could win the 3rd round, maybe the 2nd round too. Maybe the 2nd round. Maybe this is going to be like a robbery win where people are chanting robbery, because every close fight seems to be a robbery nowadays. But yeah, moving on. I think Umar Nurmagomedov by decision. Moving on to the main card. What a fire opening, bro. What a crazy good start. We got Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. I'm really reluctant on this fight because they're both so good, man. Gene Silva, yes, he's coming off the loss to Diego Lopez, but Diego Lopez is one of those guys who's number 1 ranked, maybe 2 ranked, because Movsar Evloev should still be ranked above him, I think. But he lost to the number 2 guy technically number 3 guy in the featherweight division. He started acting stupid, but I think he's going to learn from that, and I don't think he's going to overpress, or he could get a little nervous now and do the opposite, where he doesn't press as forward and gives Arnold Allen time to build into the fight, which does happen because I think Arnold Allen actually gets better as fights progress. But I don't think he's going to win this one, man. I think Gene Silva is actually going to be able to land harder strikes more consistently than Arnold Allen. If this guy was active, man, he would be like an absolute monster and one of the most entertaining fighters alive. But because he only fights once every year or 2, I don't think he'll be active enough to get the win here. So I'm going to go Gene Silva, 3rd round TKO, because I think it's going to be a war first 2 rounds. 3rd round, things are going to slow down a little bit, but Gene Silva's going to find a harder shot that drops Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen maybe covers up, maybe doesn't. Maybe he does fully go out. We'll see. And yeah, I'm going to go Gene Silva, 3rd round TKO. Moving on. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Natalia Silva is coming off of an amazing, multiple amazing performances, I'm pretty sure, actually. And her last performance was against Alexa Grasso. Dominated Alexa Grasso. Made Alexa Grasso look like a terrible striker. And she's so fast. Natalia Silva is so fast, and she's always in and out of the pocket at the right time. And Rose Namajunas, while she's a pretty good striker herself, and while there should be respect on her name, I don't know what has happened to her ever since she has moved on up to the flyweight class. I forget who said this, so forgive me. If anybody knows who said it, credit them down in the comments. But somebody said that, when it comes to women fighters, whenever they move up, they get slower. And that's just so true for this case. She's so much slower than she was at strawweight. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good thing you want to have in the flyweight division. I think you want to have speed. And Natalia Silva has the speed and the pressure. And I think Natalia Silva is going to get this one done. And I think she's going to get it done by decision. And I think she'll get a title shot, which she should already be. She should already have that title shot right now. But if we're not giving it to her, we might as well just give it to her right after this, because that's crazy. And she would have won, I think, 6 in a row at that point. So moving on, Natalia Silva, decision. Moving on to another 50-50 fight. More of 60-40, if I'm honest. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Both whoever lands cleaner first is probably gonna get knocked. It's probably getting the win here, obviously. Both these guys are monster power hitters. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is obviously the faster, more accurate, better technical striker. But Derek Lewis can for real just sleep anybody with one hit. So it is 50-50 because of that. And Waldo Cortez Acosta also has a lot of power and has shown that he can finish these guys. He's coming off of 2 brutal knockouts. I think they're both in the first round too. But I'm not gonna make a judgment because I can't remember. High key. But I'm gonna go Waldo Cortez Acosta. Momentum's on his side, the age is on his side. It cuts to a clip of Derek Lewis brutally knocking him out. But no, I'm gonna go Waldo Cortez Acosta to get this one done by TKO. I think it's gonna be kind of like a Tai Tuivasa fight where it was kind of just crazy the first round. Round 2, they're swinging a little bit, getting a little bit more open. Derek Lewis slows down, makes a few mistakes, just gets caught. I'm gonna go Waldo Cortez Acosta, second round knockout. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. Sean O'Malley is back, and he's fighting Song Yadong. I'm very excited for this fight, man. This fight, man, I have a few different things to say about this fight. Song Yadong's so good and has such good tools and mixes it up well. But Sean O'Malley's striking, whenever he doesn't have to focus on the wrestling, which he will, but he won't have to focus on the wrestling as constantly. I think he'll have a lot more focused takedowns this time around because he's going to be fighting a guy who doesn't just spam the takedowns and know he's going to get a takedown. He's fighting Song Yadong, which Song Yadong, amazing grappler, trains with, is it Uriah Faber's team? Yeah, I think it's Uriah Faber's team. Good grapplers over there. But man, I'm gonna let the fanboy me kind of get the win here, and I'm gonna say Sean O'Malley's gonna get this one done by decision. I think he's gonna be able to stay on the outside. He's gonna use his range well. He's gonna use the kicks well. I think he's gonna mix up the shots enough to confuse Song Yadong. We've seen Song Yadong get outstruck. Oh my goodness, outstruck by Piotr Jan, and maybe not outstruck by Piotr Jan, but we've seen him get outstruck by Corey Sandhagen, and I think Sean O'Malley just hits harder. I think he's probably around the same speed, but hits harder. He'll be more technical on the feet, of course. I mean, because Sandhagen, I think, is the overall more technical fighter of the two, which would also be a great fight for Sean O'Malley when he comes back after this fight. So yeah, I'm going to go Sean O'Malley, get this one done by decision, staying on the outside, using his jab, switching his stances, kicks to the body, kicks to the head, kicks to the leg, everywhere. Strikes all everywhere, man. This fight's going to be crazy. This fight might be fight of the night, by the way. Either that or Waldo Cortez Acosta and Derek Lewis. Now, moving on to the main event, the first main event in 2024, the first title fight of 2024, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, it might be the first interim title fight. I think we might get 3 interim title fights this year. And yeah, we got Justin Gaethje fighting Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. This fight's close, man. It's actually closer than people think. Other than the grappling wise, if Gaethje is able to stuff the takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, it's whenever he gets taken down that he's like a fish out of the ocean. But I think Paddy's probably going to be able to take him down here. But man, I don't know why. I just keep seeing Paddy the Baddy getting fucking dropped by a left hook from Justin Gaethje. I don't know why. I just see it so clearly. So I'm going to go... Man. I'm going to go Paddy Pimblett just to stay safe. I think he will be able to find a way to get a latch of submission on the Justin Gaethje and probably retire Justin Gaethje, to be honest. So yeah, that's my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and welcome back, UFC. See you guys in the next one. Peace.